Hey everyone, I'm Greg Lambert, the editor for the LVN newsletter. And this month, our member spotlight is on Elizabeth Elmendorf, who is the practice group director at Fakery Drinker and co chair of the LVN Education Committee. Elizabeth, thanks for letting us shine the spotlight on you this month.
Of course, happy to be here and thank you for having me.
So, do you mind sharing a little bit about your professional journey? Again, everyone I get on here, I always say, no one plans to go into this. So what was your unique path to get to a practice group director?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually thought I wanted to be an attorney. So I interned at a law firm in undergrad, and it was there that I started to get a taste for the business side of the law firm and really enjoyed that. So I pivoted and got a job at the law firm after graduation in the finance department and moved over into what was then called business management. And that was pricing, and the role really grew over the 7 years that I was there. So yeah, not my goal initially, but it's
Yeah,
worked out great.
but you probably saved yourself the headache and expense of law school, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So let's talk about the Legal Value Network. How did you first get involved with LVN?
Sure. So I got involved with LBN via one of its founders who was a client at my last firm. And so just kind of via my network, he mentioned it to me. I said I thought that was interesting, and he got me plugged in right away.
Nice, nice. And I know no good deed goes unpunished, as we say. So, what motivated you to take on a leadership role like the co-chair of the LVN Education Committee?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I find most beneficial about LBN is the knowledge sharing that we get to do there, because we all do so much in our jobs, at law firms, at clients, and it's amazing to have a network of people where we can share best practices, share different tools that we're using that are working well. And so I think the education component is really invaluable. And I was able to sit on the committee for a year. So when I was offered the position to co chair it, it was kind of a no brainer, because I think that content can be really helpful to everyone in LVN, from people in junior roles to chief level roles, because we can all learn from each other.
Nice, nice. So, let's switch back to the industry again. What's been some of the shifts that you've seen in legal practice management over the past few years?
I think one of the biggest things is the way data comes into play. I don't think that leadership was looking as much at data driven decisions in the past. And that's great for people in my roles, because that's what I live and breathe every day. And so that a big emphasis of that would be profitability too. I don't think we were, at least at the firms I've been at, I don't think we were talking about profitability a decade ago.
Yeah, it used to be a
Um,
dirty word.
yeah, yeah. And now it's part of the conversation, which is great. And of course, there are times when that can't be the only thing we're looking at, but I think it's really important. And I think that the attorneys are more interested in running the firm like a business and looking at it from that perspective. So I think that's been a big shift. And I think that is a lot in part thanks to practice management type roles who work with the attorneys.
Yeah. Now you kind of mentioned the data-driven decisions. There's also been a big increase in leveraging the technology and the innovations. And it can't do anything without talking about AI, I guess.
Yeah.
So how do you think law firms can better prepare for the future by leveraging all these tools?
I think it's really tough because there's so many options out there. What I've seen work really well at the firm I'm at is we have an innovation officer who's open to reviewing all different types of technology that's out there to find what works best for our firm and our strategic initiatives and goals. Um, and making sure, I think that when you're looking at these technologies that they tie into one another because we need them to talk to each other so that we can have consistency across the board.
Yeah, yeah. I've talked with Sean Swearingen before there
Yeah.
at Fagery, and she's fantastic on kind
Great.
of driving that innovation. So it's good to have that type of person there that's pushing
Yeah,
things.
and she tells the attorneys to come to her with ideas, which I think is great. And so I think that, encouraging all attorneys, but especially the newer associates to really embrace the technology and learn it so that that's a value add of their practice. I think that's another big part too.
Yeah. So you've got a lot going on, work and the LVN stuff, and so how do you kind of balance the demands of the leadership role that you have there, the committee work that you're doing, and maintain a personal life at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that some days are busier than others, but I think it's important to recognize that, especially for education committees, stuff like that, I don't have to be necessarily sitting at my desk thinking hard. I can be out for a run in the morning when an idea comes to me. So I think that creativity sometimes happens away from the computer work. And so just keeping that in mind and doing things that bring me joy on a daily basis, whether that's a run or I love skiing. We're in ski season still out here in Colorado. So incorporating that. And then, yeah, I mean, this job never really stops. So
Yeah. That is for sure. That's for sure. So last question for you. If you could give one piece of advice to someone looking to get more involved with the Legal Value Network, what would that be?
I would say join the extended committee. That's how I started. And put your hand up. Let people know that you're interested in taking on position, getting more involved in a larger committee because there's plenty to do. And so showing your eagerness is really great. And then get to the LVNX so that you can meet folks and build your network because as I mentioned at the beginning, that's how I got involved in the first place is my network. So somebody brought me in. So it's always helpful to have those connections.
All right. Well, Elizabeth Elmendorf from Fager Drinker and the co-chair of the LVN Education Committee. Thanks for coming off the slopes for us today and letting us shine the spotlight on you.
Thank you for having me, Greg.